All right, welcome back to part 6 of this multiplayer game development series. And what I want to look at today is you currently have a level. We've got the multiplayer connectivity going on. We're able to add new peers to this. We're able to sync things. We're able to drop bombs or bullets or whatever have you. We're able to instantiate, create new things, and have them synced up between my two levels. Here we are here. If I do a little host and I do a little join, then perfect. You're able to see. Ooh, let's go on to there. You can see down in the background there, jumping. And as we saw earlier, we can create a bomb. They appear on both of these. Oh, I had it disappear as well. So we've got the makings of a multiplayer game, but if you wanted to create something a little more robust, if you have some kind of adventure game, some kind of competition, some kind of thing where you would progress through some levels, we currently don't have the ability to do that because we have one tiny little level here. Now we could make something much larger and show some cameras and move around if you wanted a single level, but often, maybe I wanted to create a game where I don't know, we're going to get something like a goal, and then the person who got the goal gets a point, and then we move on to a different level, and you can start to create some environments to play in. That's one of the other exciting things about kind of multiplayer games is exploring through different terrains as you compete against another player. And for reasons that well, I'll explain right now, this gets a little trickier in multiplayer. In the old days, if we were using a single player game or any of the other games we've done, we would hit some kind of object and just change the scenes, and that would just work fine. We could negotiate and move through our different levels. In the multiplayer world, we run into some problems with synchronization if we're doing that. And I know Godot is currently working on making just the change level work and get synced, but it can be a bit problematic. If you think about how we were playing, let's say I have a host and a client, one of my peers here. So we'll call this 1, 2, and they are playing their game, and we have built some kind of game where there is, I don't know, say a star here or something like that, and the players have to go get it. Well, they would get that, and if it was just this two-player game that we had set up right at the beginning, that would be fine. We could probably make it so that we would change different scenes so that a new scene would load up. There are some other issues that may come, but let's say now we're on level 2, and level 2 has maybe a platform on it. And then we've built a game where it's not a lobby system where they have to just join in at the beginning. We could have a new player join in at any point in time. So now I have my number 3 peer joined. Well, remember, all of the multiplayer connectivity and adding players and creating things and stuff like that is done on this multiplayer script right here, which would be our main scene as we go. If these have now moved to another scene, well, that multiplayer is going to be gone because these don't need to reconnect. They've already been connected, and we don't want them adding new players. We just want them to maintain their state. And then this person has to join in, but if there's no multiplayer on the second level, then this person can't connect, and they're stuck on level 1, and they haven't been notified that they should be at level 2, so things get a little bit complicated. And we can kind of work around this essentially by keeping our setup here and just doing, let me close that there, and just doing a little swap out. So at the moment, here's my multiplayer scene. This is what gets launched at the beginning. It's my main scene. And we have a level, and it's its own node because I've created it as a scene. We have a lobby system that we hide and show when people first join. And the multiplayer is taking care of all the connectivity and multiplayer spawning and things like that. So if you think about it, level 1 is just its own node, and we could just hide it. And if I hide level 1, I could also replace it with, say, a level 2. And the lobby's gone, the players are there, and essentially I'm just vanishing and creating new levels all within the same scene. so that it can appear that we've moved, but in fact the players just stay there, and maybe we could have them respawn to a different position so it looks like we've switched levels, but in fact we are sitting on the same thing. This multiplayer continues to handle any new peers that may want to come and join our game. If we had some kind of arena style battle game or something like that, and all we're doing is just changing the appearance of the environment around us. So I'd like to look at how to do that today, so that you could create some level changes. So the first thing I'm going to need is let's show that lobby back again. First thing I need is some kind of place to get to, some kind of goal or token or something like that. So I'm just going to create a brand new scene like we've done before. I'm going to make this an area 2D. They call this goal. I got to give it a sprite 2D. There we go. I happen to have already loaded in this little red star, so I'm just going to grab that and put it there. You, of course, use whatever graphic you like. It's a little big. Let's shrink it down and pop it in the right spot there. And then, of course, I also need to add a collision shape to that. Give it a shape resource like a rectangle, and I'll just make sure, I don't have to be super precise here, that when we hit the star, then it's going to be our goal. Perfect. So we save this as our goal. And like in other things, we've collected coins before, we've got different goals. Usually what I like to do is set up a script on the goal. Call that the goal script. And then what I want to do is when a physics body, the player or something else, hits this, it sends a signal to itself to progress through our different levels. So let's get into our node signal. Click that one there. We say a body entered. That's going to be our player, or one of our players. I'm going to connect it back to itself. And now we have this. And I'm just temporarily here, I'll put that pass there. Temporarily, I'm going to say put the change level code here. So that's going to say I want to switch new levels, because we're going to do it in a slightly different way than we've done in the past, for reasons we'll get into in just a second. So that's ready. The signal's all hooked up. The code is just needs to be added, and let's look at that multiplayer scene here. So the goal, let's pop that onto level 1. So I am going to take that goal, I'm going to instantiate it on level 1, and now I'll just pop it right here. Now be careful in your testing. Your players are just kind of spawning from the ceiling and falling down. They may actually hit the goal, but of course I could do a little bit better level design to make that trickier to get to. There we go. So now we could probably try and do this in the goal, but the goals are going to be coming and going, and this changing level, the levels are children of multiplayer. So I want to be able to very easily access that, and the easiest way to access other nodes is if they are children of the node that is doing all the script work. So I'm going to put this script work, this changing level, in multiplayer. So it has the ability to very nicely grab it and grab these levels, delete them, add them, and just keep everything kind of nice and neat and organized. So my first step on the multiplayer is this is currently level 1. It's an instance of level 1 scene, but it doesn't have to be called level 1. By default, they're called whatever the root node is. But this is actually going to be, I'm going to be swapping out levels. And I guess in theory, I could have all of the levels here that I wanted, and I could just hide and show them. But again, that leads to that problem of synchronizing. I got to figure out which level's hidden, which level's shown, and I got to communicate that information to any new peer that would join. So rather than have a whole bunch of levels present, I'm actually going to swap them in as I need them. So instead of being level 1, I'm just going to call this level, just so I'm not confused in the future. This is whatever level we are currently playing. At the beginning, it's level 1, but I'm going to replace it with level 2, level 3, level 4. That being said, I realize I do not have a level 2, so let's quickly add that as well. I'm going to just right-click, save scene as, and I'm going to call the second level level 2. We'll keep that little goal there, but I don't know, let's just add a little platform. So I'm going to duplicate, Control D, or duplicate this, this platform. Oops. Let's link those together, group the selected nodes. If you didn't know that trick there, that allows you to make sure that they don't change, don't grab part of it by accident. And here, let's just, oh, it's way up there, but that's okay. I just need a little node here to grab, make it smaller, and there we go. Now we got a little platform, just so when I move to level 2, I know that I'm on level 2. It is a platform. Level 1 does not. Right there. Perfect. Okay, so I'm set up to do some of this code swapping. I've switched this out. This is level, and whatever level is that we move on to is going to get swapped into that spot. So let's add this change level feature here on the code. And to keep it tight and organized, like I've got a lot of functions here, I'm going to make myself a new function. In multiplayer, we'll call it function change level. And it is going to be called from the goal. Goal's going to send it something, and it's also goal's going to need to send it what scene, which level we should change to. So I'm going to add a new feature here. We're actually going to send it a scene that it's going to load, and I've grabbed a lot of this code from the Godot documentation. So just have to bear with me on how we've made it work. They're still brand new in this new multiplayer integration. So we've also created a new kind of data type, if you will, for Godot, is that we can pass whole scenes from one function to another. It doesn't just have to be variables or IDs or strings or things like that. We can pack the whole scene, and they've called that a packed scene. So I'm going to call this scene. This is going to be what it's called, and it's going to be passed as a packed scene. There we go. So new bit of syntax there. Basically, you are forcing the typing there of the information you're being passed. All right, so goal's been hit. It's going to send a scene to this change level, and change level is going to do all the changing for me. Well, the first thing change level's got to do is get rid of that old level. I don't want that there. I want to swap it out with the completely new one. So let's do a little hashtag remove old level from the scene. Just remember, document as you go along, because you're going to forget to do it later on. So the first thing I want to do is figure out what that is, and I'm just going to make it so I can easily refer to it. Level, I'm going to make a var level, and it's going to equal to, I'm going to just grab that child resource. Remember, it's really nice to grab children resources from a parent just by saying $level. So whatever is there, I'm going to get that and store it in this level variable. Now, if you think about what's going on, right now you just see one thing, but if I go to the scene, level 1 is actually a whole bunch of resources. It's got the goal, it's got a floor, static body thing, it's got a whole pile of stuff there. So I need to get rid of all of it. And to completely get rid of it from my memory, I don't want it anywhere around, that level is going to be gone. So to do this thoroughly, we actually need to go through and delete each resource on its own. When we delete a parent resource, it creates essentially an orphaned node. So we don't want to do that. So we want to get rid of all of these. So I'm going to say for, I don't know, nodes. No, nodes a bad one there. For, I'm just going to iterate through these. For I in level, so there's a little loop, for loop here we've done in Python before. So for all of the things in this level resource, dot, and I need to get them, get children And that will collect and count all of the children that are of all the children of level. I want to level dot remove child I. So this one grabs, it's kind of like when we iterated through a list. I grab each particular node and now I'm removing it from my game. And not only removing it from the game, I also need to remove it from the computer's memory. So we have done this before. This is I.QFree. So that's going to both remove it from the scene and remove it from the computer's memory, QFree it. All right, and once that's done, that's going to get rid of the static body, the floor, the collision shape, the goal, and anything else that you've got going on in that level. Simultaneously, or subsequently, I guess, we also want to get rid of this level resource again because I'm going to add level 2 in as level, and I don't want competing nodes. You don't want the nodes to have the same name. That leads to a lot of problems later on. So I am going to also remove child level. And I do this, make sure I do it after I've removed all the children of level. And again, same thing, get it out of the computer's memory, level dot QFree. All right, so this little line of code here gets rid of these lines of code gets rid of absolutely everything to do with the old level. And now I want to add a new level. New level. All right, so let's grab that. Now remember, the new level is coming in as something called scene. That's the variable I've given it here. So I'm going to just make a var new level. We've done this before with lots of other things that have been created in Godot. Equals scene dot instantiate. This makes a basically create. It doesn't add it, but it doesn't add it to our tree. It just creates a node of using scene. Now, in this particular case, I want, because I've grabbed, every time I grab level and clear the old level out, I've always called it level. So I'm grabbing it by its name. So I want to make sure that new scene that I've just put in is not called level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It's always called level. So I'm going to say new level dot set name to be level. So even if it's level 2, level 3, level 4, whatever I've called the level scenes, when it's brought in and added to my game, it's always just being called level. And then I can add child new level. So and because the multiplayer code is calling it, the multiplayer is going to pop it right there. All right. Now, we've got this change level function all set up here. This, in theory, is going to delete the old one and add the new one when I hit the goal, but I remember that I have not actually finished that work over there, over on the goal. I just put a temporary thing, said put the change level code here. So let's figure out if that's going to work. And there's, I guess, one more thing I need to fix here to figure out what level we're going to. So this goal is going to send us to our new level, but I'm putting this as its own scene so that I can reuse it again and again. And I've done this in other games before as well. I create a variable to say what the next level is going to be so that I can use this on level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So remember, if you haven't yet, we have a new syntax for this exporting the variable. I can say export underscore file var next level. So this is my variable next level. That's the exact same. In this case, this little feature exports it as a file, so I can just pick and click on my editor which level I'm going to, and I'll just say put new level here, just to remind me. Let's save that scene. And you can see now, of course, if we go here and click on goal in the inspector, there is my next level thing. So I can pick that and I can say on level 1, click the goal, that's going to go to level 2. On level 2, when I click the goal, I can say that one's going to go to level 3 or 4 or finish the game or what have you. All right, back to that script there. So now I've got a variable called new level. That's the one I'm going to go to. And essentially, here's my code that I'm going to say it's a signal linked up. So when the character hits it, I want to change scenes. And previously, what I would have done is just change. Oh, sorry, I would have gone get tree period change scene to file, and you can see now we also have this same change scene to packed, and then I would have put next level to go there. But remember, what I need to do is actually call that function. I'm calling setting up the change level function on player. So I need to execute code that actually appears in multiplayer, and we can do that by giving the exact path, the exact direction to how we get to that node that has the script on it and say, ooh, I want you to execute this code here. And if I think about this, the goal is going to be, oh, some child of level. So it's going to be sitting way down here. So essentially, I have to say, hey, go all the way up to multiplayer, look in the code here, and then call that level, that change level function. And so to do this, I need to get the root of the scene. I mean, I could go get parent, get parent, get parent to work my way up the chain, but we do have the ability to say get tree and then get current scene. Get current scene. Not sure why it's not code completing there for me. Oh, there we go. And these two lines here says get the tree and get the scene that I'm on. This gets the root scene. So in this case, that will be that multiplayer scene. So we're now way right up at the top, the parent. And then I am going to call a function in that one. So I'm just going to say the function was called change level. And here's what I've grabbed from them. I guess there's some can be some issues in multiplayer. If a bunch of other stuff's going on, you don't want to immediately do that. You want to wait until the other stuff finishes, at least it's part of the game loop. So we have the ability to do something called call deferred. And call deferred allows you to essentially just wait until everybody's ready before we change the level. So that's why I'm not just change level and then sending it next level. So I'm going to defer that call, just wait until everybody's ready for it. And then I'm going to send change level the next level scene. And I do that with a load next level. I could have loaded the next level up there or just down here or something, but I'm putting it all in one go. So take that next level scene, load it up, send it over to the change level function, and then call it in multiplayer. Whew. All right, let's give it a go and see if that works. If we can now on level 1, we should be able to hit the star and hopefully change to level 2. And let's give it a try. Make sure I haven't missed anything here on my game. And I've found that they're a little bit sluggish to load sometimes. There we go. Perfect. Oh, no, I need to not play level 1. I need to play the multiplayer. So I have the lobby. And perhaps setting up a game so that my multiplayer was the main scene would be the best way of avoiding that problem. There we go. So I host, I get ready on the mouse just to make sure. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not hitting the star. And I join, ready. There we go. So it looks like the multiplayer, the player here, the host is closest. So I am in sync. We can see that here. And as I hit the star, do I get to my next level? No, I crash. Instantiate on a null value. Let's see what error we messed up here. On-bodied entered. Oh, put new level here. There we go. There's my one problem. I forgot that I actually have to write which level is the next level. So on level 1, I need to say that's going to go to level 2. So I click here and I load level 2 as my destination. And I don't know, let's keep the game looping around. On level 2, I click on the goal and I say level 2 is going to go back to level 1, just because I don't have level 3 or a finished screen yet. There we go. And I leave these in these videos just because I want you to see that it doesn't always go perfectly the first time. You're going to come up with problems. Just look and see, especially pay attention to the errors. I mean, that jumps out at you saying, hey, put new level here resource. That doesn't exist. And you can quickly realize what your error is and go and fix it. So now that I've chosen a destination level, let's see if we can make sure that works. That at least got pretty successful there. Let's host on this one, join on this one. Here we go. Go and hit it, and boom. And oh, there's a problem, and it's a good one. Getting a debugger. Notice we're getting flashing here. Well, my if I move off there, you can see. There, we can make it work. Because the star on level 2 is at the exact same spot, I'm essentially cycling through because my player's not moving. And we could probably solve that with some kind of respawn so that the players went away. Or, even easier would be on level 2 to make sure that the goal wasn't in the exact same position. Maybe I'll put the goal up here, so now they have to go move around and try that one last time to make sure everything is neat and tidy. Go look and see what the debugger does a little bit later. Didn't seem to affect anything in my game other than whipping through the levels too quickly. All right, so on my host, I hit that and boom, there we go. And now I've appeared up top. So I could go back to level 1 and you can see we can now switch between our levels as we go. And as I said, maybe next video we'll look at doing a little respawn so it doesn't look, it definitely looks like the players are switching levels and maybe we put them back to a start spot, or I don't know, it depends on how you want to build your game. But we'll look at that next level. That's probably enough there to get you going. Thank you very much.